Hi lovely people. Well, I've been asked by somebody, and lots of people are new to my channel, and some have asked me to actually show my enclosure setups, and through my videos you have all seen basically how they are set up, but I'll try and keep this short and sweet because, like I said, many of you know already how my actual enclosures are set up, so it will be reasonably boring to many of you who have watched my videos. But I have, you know, made some changes with Amaya being in a new enclosure, and I have got clips of, I believe, prior to setting up and what it was, and then what it looks like now. So I'll put bits and pieces of that along the way, because I ultimately ended up moving 4 snakes due to having to rearrange a bit. So anyway, let's get on to it. It's a pretty chilled out Saturday here. You'll see Myah and Noah laying over there on the couch chilling out. That's my plans as well. I did get a video up today with Jessie and Lily just hanging out, and of course Jessie being a bit of a dill and not realizing he didn't have enough of the length of his body out to crawl back over his body and keep some of his body over this end, so he fell. And he wouldn't have fallen all the way, of course, but you know, he's strong enough to hold himself that if he'd fallen that bit, he'd have stiffened and kept himself quite safe. But he knew I was there, so he just fell into my hand instead. Makes him smart. So we will start with Oscar's, who you've actually have seen, because I recently also did one of Oscar in this enclosure. So I'll put a card in for you to check out that day when I was being silly and acting like I was doing some sort of a documentary with him, but I wasn't. That was because Renee felt, you know, my actual intro kind of began a bit like that, and Oscar has made a bit of a mess of his enclosure, and actually I do have to go and get substrate for him and get that into the bottom of his enclosure. So of course, you know, I'm using the hemp bedding and I love it, and my snakes don't mind it at all, and I've been using it for quite a few months now, so it seems to be just fine for them. You will see, I'm sure, Oscar over there chilling on top of one of his kind of like hides that he doesn't really use as a hide. I also have a cardboard box in the back here, which can be a hide for him, and he's, you know, of course, creased all the paper up. I've also put a log that can act as a place for him to, you know, go into. Oh my words, go into, or just perch on the top of it if he chooses. Lots of branches, of course, for him to climb, and as you can see, the plants that I showed you, I have spread in here, and he loves climbing through them. You know, that's why they are as they are and flattened, because he does. He climbs all through them and sits up here, and yeah. But he has his basking spot, and I do use a lamp for Oscar, and that is on a dimming thermostat. So, you know, right now the air conditioner's blowing, so it's quite bright, but without the air conditioner going, there would be no heat going on at the moment in enclosures, and you can see that Oscar has come to investigate to see who's messing around in his enclosure right now, and it's just Mum. So his bowl of water, always remember to change the water every day. If you can't, at least every second day, especially here at the moment where it's hot, humid, muggy and really horrible, and they really need fresh, not cold water, but cool water. You do not give your snakes ice water cold from out of the fridge. And my dog barks, of course, because Jed always has to do his bark. So I'm 5 minutes in, am I not? Because there I go yibber yabbering. I only use paper towels for Oscar, and I do use paper towels for the little ones. And why do I use paper towels for the little ones? Because I can see how much they're peeing and pooping, guys. In substrate you can't. And I think with your babies you really need to keep an eye on that process and what's going on for them. You know, it's all a part of monitoring babies, your hatchlings that are young. So, but once they get to Oscar's age, even when Oscar came to me, he would have been old enough. But this enclosure is 600 by 600 by 750 high. It's not going to last Oscar very long as a coastal carpet python, but for now he is more than content in there, and I have no issues with him being in this glass, mind you, a glass enclosure. To make them feel safe and secure, if you want to, please put some paper or whatever on the side. They then feel like they're in a much smaller place and not looking out in this big bad world. You know, they do have the mesh tops. If you're concerned about humidity, and right now I'm not because there's so much humidity in the air, you can put a towel on, or you can use good old bubble wrap to cover any mesh top that you've got humidity issues with. He does have a light, as you can see it's on. That's on roughly an 8-hour cycle, and it's connected to the thermostat, so it will switch on and it will switch off. At the moment I tend to keep it off, and I will turn it off now that we've checked him out, because it gives off an element of heat as well. So in winter that can really help with ambient temperatures within any enclosure, not just a glass one, because I don't have any issues with this maintaining the right heat for Oscar. Now we'll move on to Amaya, and this is her new enclosure, and there's glare, I know, but this enclosure would be the 1200 by 6, a little bit more than 600 high and 600 deep, I believe, or it's exactly that. No, it's probably that 600 by 600 by 1200. And I have, of course, because I love them, I must say, heat panels for the enclosures, not the glass ones. You can do it, you can actually do that if you wish to, but you know, eventually I'll have them all in these types of enclosures, and they don't have to be done professionally. This one wasn't, neither were the ones Tessa and Jessie are in, so you can do them and make them yourself. So she has an actual 80-watt heat panel, and of course on my smaller enclosures, which you'll see with Myah, they only have a 40-watt, but this size needs the 80-watt. I do have, you know, very low warm LED lights in here for Amaya. You know, and as you saw with Oscars, I love having hammock space for them to lay on, so she can certainly get up in there and be nice and warm. I've also added lots and lots of branches, well, climbing things for Myah. She has the bamboo poles down here low. She's got the vines here that she can grip onto. She's got the sticks here that she can... Okay, I stopped because I figured you could hear a lot of dishes and things and drawers, so I'm sorry about that. But lots of plants also. I actually found this branch, this big one, and it had these leaves here, these little gum nuts sort of hanging off them already. So I brought it home, I sterilized it, cleaned it all up, and thought that is perfect for one of my snake enclosures. So she does have a, of course, moss tub here if she chooses to go in it, and she does. You've seen her laying in these moss tubs. She has a hide here which she can get into over there, plenty of space. She has a hemp bedding, her water bowl, and you know, a bit of texture by putting one of these fake rock looking back fixtures, and a plant in front of it and over it. I don't, you know, that's just me personally, and what I like to do is have all these things around. So there you can see, I'll open up this side. My girl is loving her, as I call it, pod, because that's what it looks like to me, a pod. She has this smaller hammock in the front of it to support it. I'm also able to take it in and take it out if I choose to, and hang it out here in the hangout area for her. She has a hide down here at the back, and it's so hard for me to give you a great view, overall view, but you know, that is basically how Myah's looks. So now to Miss Tessa, and I'll go quicker now because I have taken a while, and that's my middle name too. Take a while to get it all out there. Tessa's my Bradley. She is one big girl, and she is one big girl. She lives in a 1200 high by 600 by 600. Lots of height, lots of areas for her to hang out. This shelf seems to be, of course, her favorite. Is just laying right there, and I guess the temperature there is just perfect as well. She also has a heat panel that is on a pulse proportional, as is Amaya's. They work really well with heat panels. Lots and lots of branches that she can enjoy. She loves getting in here and curling up. As big as she is, she can still curl up in little spots actually. She does have a hide, but very rarely ever uses it. But these logs are solid, so I know it can take her weight quite easily. And over here I have a sawn off stump, which is, you know, got a little bit of height to it that she can climb down on and lay on, and it's covered in sphagnum moss, which if I need to or I choose to, I can spray down and dampen down a little bit. She has an area here which she uses as well. So she has lots of variance in her ambient temperatures and where she can actually go and lay. And I do like to offer it for them and I don't care what anybody says. If you give your snake an opportunity to climb, that's exactly what they are going to do. I have strip LED lights in here for Missy. They do not get warm. Your LEDs are not ones to really add heat to your enclosures, so it can stay on. So moving back, you will see, you know, she has lots of space, and this will be her permanent enclosure. I do not need to get a bigger one for her. Again, she's allowed out, she's allowed to explore, she's allowed to climb out of her enclosure, and she does. But this is her resting place. And by no means, guys, just because I've got this and I've got that and I've got plants, it doesn't mean you have to, and it means that you're caring for your snake better than, or I'm caring for my snakes better than you are. It does not mean that at all. It's just what I like to do. She's on hemp bedding, and that's working really well. And as you can see, you know, Tessa's really chilled. But then Tessa has a big full belly too at the moment, which makes Tessa very contented with life, I think. So let's go around, because you've all seen Lily's a multitude of times, I believe. She's currently up there as always. She was fed not yesterday, the day before. So of course she's digested, she's out and about. Now Lily's is, now I did measure it, and it's 1600 long by 200 by 600 by 600. So it's a long one, and Lily loves it because, you know, even though jungles really love to climb, this is Lily's area that she prefers when it comes to her actual enclosure. She also has a heat panel in her enclosure. LED lights, as you can see, are blinking as hers seem to do, and the ones that she pulls out when she wants to come out and makes me open the door and fix it for her, which gives her an escape to get out. Clever girl. Hammocks. Now, I was very much criticised for my hammocks by an individual, and I'm not even really going to go into greater detail because I could care less about his opinion, but I was pretty much told to keep knitting my hammocks and what was it, Eskimo kissing my snakes, because I was just crazy lady. I don't Eskimo kiss my snakes, number one, and number two, I don't actually knit my hammocks. I buy them online already made for reptiles. Basically they are, and my snakes do love them, and you've all seen how much my snakes love them. But she has great big logs in there. She loves to get in behind those logs and sleep, or she loves to get up in her hammock and sleep. She also, you know, I've put in this rubber stool. I got this in so you can see. I'm not sure how much that, I think it was like $12 or something. But actually what it is, it's a great anchor point for this log that is in there. She can also, as you can see, I've put moss kind of around it and what have you, but you know, there's also her hemp bedding there. She can go in under there. She can get up under this shelving area. That is just removable as well. It's a floating shelf. I can pull that off at any time, but I kind of have that there to give her a full area to lay up under her heat. Yes, I have plants and vines and things hanging around. Nothing too flash in Lily's, but certainly enough for her, for somebody who spends very little time hanging in her enclosure. And Lily, you know, did have the same size as Tessa, and she was just not comfortable in it. So, you know, she came into this one and she's been quite comfortable in this one ever since. So that is Lily's in amongst the birds stuff that you can see here. Now moving on to, now we come to little Archie's, and Archie is in a brand new one, and I have to move things, and I should have, as I say, I shall put my ring light on now so that we might be able to see Archie's, and I will have to climb. That's what you get for being a short person. You always need to climb to get up here. But where is he? He is, so it's still going to be dark, so I will click his light on. There we go. And like I said, heat comes from that light, so that's why I keep it off as well for Archie here. He has his moss tub, which he spends a bit of time in there when he wants to. That is on top of a hide. He does have the hemp bedding here as well. He has his hammock over here. He has a dimming thermostat connected, and his bulb is actually in here, and as you can see, it is covered by a protective cage. Please do not forget to do that if you have internal lights or bulbs in your enclosures. So here's a lot of greenery, of course, hanging around his enclosure. Excuse me. I put a shelf here for him. You know, he gets up here and he hangs off it and looks around. He also has a bit of a log here that he can climb all the way up on. He has an enclosure at the back here if he chooses to go in that, and of course his water bowl. That's, yeah, just perfect for Archie for now, guys. For now, Archie is going to need a much higher enclosure, probably, you know, staying within this length, which I would say is, I don't know, I didn't measure it, guys. I'm really sorry, but I would say it would be 750 long, and almost 600 high, I would guesstimate. You could say is the word. So there he is. He was out last night and had a little bit of time out with us. He's gotten so long, this boy. Still looks like a little fragile hatchling, but he's not. He's a year old coming up, I believe. No, he isn't. He cannot be that old, because I got him in January. I'll say out my memory, guys. You can probably remember better than I can these days of when I got him, but I got him last year actually. So here we go to Myah's new enclosure, which is Amaya's old enclosure, as you will remember here. And you know, she has her hides and cork bark where she can go in and under. She's got a hide which was her original one. She has her hammocks, as she always has had. She has got some branches and driftwood and things like that to enjoy, and so far I don't know if you can see her because I'm in the light, but there she is, loving her new enclosure. She can spread right out, and this will be, well, there's her tail, and you know, there's her head. So she's loving it, and I'm glad that I finally got her into this, which is a 1200 by 500 by 500, which is going to be perfect for Myah all of her life. So yeah, and then let's go down to Ishwa, or Ishi, who just shed today. She's been a bit quiet, but yeah, she came out and said hello to me. Now I've done a little bit with Ishwas. I've added more greenery, and I added a pine tree. Now the other day when I was doing the plants, I said these look like pine leaves, I think, and I meant to say eucalyptus leaves. So scratch but these are pine, these ones, and it's like a Christmas tree, but it's got a hessian bag around the solid rock that's holding it, because the rock's a bit rough, but perfect for Ishi to climb in and around and up, and because it's strong enough to hold her weight. So she's got a lot of coverage in there now, still got her old hide, some branches to climb on, and a hammocks to enjoy. So yeah, that's Ishwa's, and I would say hers is about 750 high by 750 long and 600 deep, so plenty big enough for Ishwa to enjoy. And she also has hemp bedding as well. I've got 2 more to go, guys, so how am I going to do this in, a video is in under half an hour. I've got 3 more to go actually, because I haven't done Jessie's either at this point. My goodness. Well, Jessie's, as you can see, is the same size as Tessa's, and he is up there in his hammock. Always I have hammocks for my snakes. I may be criticised for it. He does have a plant there that he's squished down, which is fine because he actually lays on top of that. So that's cool. Now they have bird rings, and why I actually put them in is because Jessie is an excitable feeder, and he really doesn't care what's going on except for how do I get that feeder. Oh, I have to open the door because I hate the glare, guys, and I'm not turning on Jessie's light because Jessie's light does give off a lot of heat, and it's just too hot, so it's not on. But yeah, he's got plenty of room to move, and yes, it's getting close to a feeding day, but it's not actually feeding day, Jessie. So he also has a heat panel up here, of course, a sawn off log here with some moss around it that I can spray on it if I feel they need some more humidity. And he has a hide over there that he doesn't really use. And again, Jessie has multiple layers of ambient temperatures that he chooses for himself, what he prefers. So yeah, he fits in there, and he's a big boy like Tessa, and he'll do fine in there. Now this, of course, starting to get out of breath. This used to be Myah's enclosure, and I can't really get back too far because I'm, bird cage, birds, all the rest of it that live here with me. But again, hides, warm end, cool end, basking bulb, dimming, thermostat, moss tub, couple of hides. Now I've used an old, which maybe you'll see if I open up this door, but I've used an old musical box that wooden one that I've turned upside down, that gives Apani a hide to go and actually hide in if she would like to, he would like to. Just some branches, of course, and then more greenery. perfect, just is perfect again. If I'm concerned about, oh, and there comes Apani, always to say hello. Did you? Did you come to say hello? I don't know if there. Hemp bedding for Apani, doing perfectly fine with that. I will certainly be continuing to use the hemp bedding. So did I forget anybody? I would hope that I didn't forget anybody. The size of her enclosure is, what are we looking at? 1 metre long by 450, 500 high. That's perfect for Apani. Be perfectly fine in there as he grows up as well. So really the only, I have Oscar to consider and I have Archie to consider as he gets older, and I did forget somebody. I really totally did forget somebody, and that's little Car. See, I knew I did. Oh my goodness. And I'm 21 minutes in the other videos I'm 14 minutes in, so how am I going to cut this video? Well, you'll see how I've cut it, I guess, when we get to here, when you're actually listening to me talk to you here now. Yeah, you'll see how I had to cut it to make it shorter. But Car's in not a very wide enclosure at all, but has got the height, and Car loves to climb. He is over there in his hide, and he has a hide here. He also has his moss tub, which he enjoys at times, not all the time, but he does enjoy it. He is on paper towels, but we'll be getting, of course, the hemp bedding when I go and get some, because I've used the big bale of it. A hammock to sleep on to get up under his basking light. I currently don't have a dimmer. He's on a stop-start, which is okay for in the interim. Branches, plants, and he does well in this. He's a happy little chap. He's such a cheeky boy. I don't know how I could forget him. How could I forget you, Mr. Cheeky? Hey? How could I forget you want to come out and play today, don't you? So, Car will be coming out to have a play today. So guys, there's all my enclosures. Awfully long video. Like, I am so sorry, because I did not mean for it to go that long. I just didn't know how to make it shorter, and I'm surprised my battery didn't start blinking because it was so long. So before I keep going, take care of yourself, your family, your friends, your snakes, and all your animals. It's 5 things. And they're the 5 things I remember more than anything else. Ciao for now.